Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in the capital city of the province of British Columbia in Canada. I hope everybody has had a good week, looking back on last week with smiles and happiness and looking forward to a good weekend. Welcome Kyber, thank you for the birthday wishes. Welcome Jazz. Ramneek, I'll take a look at that email that you sent, or one of my colleagues will. Good to have so many students. Welcome Ken and other members. Nice to have your support and to have you in this class. We are looking at a speaking part 2 for the next hour. We're looking at a specific cue card discussing how to give a Band 9 response. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have tons of information to help you improve your language, your vocabulary, grammar, as well as your communication skills, because for high bands in the IELTS exam, you need great communication skills. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator. Good to have you in this class as well. Students, this is our academic IELTS web portal here at aehelp.com. It's got the blue background. You can click that big red button to join our premium package, which includes over 100 hours of HD video lessons, 6 full practice exams, and lots more. For the general IELTS, it's the green background, same idea. Click that big red button, join our premium package. Doesn't cost very much, and it will certainly help you to get a higher band score, maximize your investment on your next IELTS exam. We are an official British Council IELTS Test Registration Center certified agents. We work with examiners, and we are world leaders when it comes to preparing for your IELTS test. We have apps. Our apps are linked to our websites. Academic IELTS Help links to aehelp.com. General IELTS Help links to gieltshelp.com. We are looking for a new app developer to add to our team. So if you know a good app developer, tell them to send us an email. If you have questions about IELTS or about our products, send me an email as well. My email is adrian@aehelp.com. So you can email me there at any time. All right, students. So right now, speaking part 2. Tomorrow we will have a Q&A session for members. And we will also have speaking part 3 for everyone. Okay, so let's get into IELTS speaking part 2. Okay, so you're sitting in your IELTS speaking interview. You're done part 1. Part 1 is the introduction, about 4 or 5 questions on a general topic pertaining to you. Pertaining means connected to you. Okay, so you're talking about I, me, my. And then after about 4 or 5 minutes, the examiner will say, okay, that's the end of part 1. Now for part 2, I will show you some questions. The examiner has a booklet with quite a few different part 2 questions, and then they'll choose one that's set for that exam day, and they will show you the booklet. They will ask you not to touch the booklet, especially because COVID is still of concern. So they'll say, okay, here are the questions. Please do not touch the booklet. You have some note paper there, and you'll see there will be little pieces of kind of scrap paper that's there for you to take notes. And then you will have a pen. You need to take a pen with you into the interview. And then the examiner says, okay, you have 1 minute to read the questions, think about your answers, take some notes if you wish in the 1 minute. Then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. They do time it. They have a stopwatch. Okay. They'll use that stopwatch to be very precise, hopefully. Okay. And then they should read the topic of your cue card question. Okay. So let's take a look at this. IELTS speaking part 2. Talk about a tool you use to fix something broken. Okay, so some kind of tool, some kind of equipment that you use to fix something that is broken. All right, so the examiner will read that topic statement for you. However, you should also read it 2 times. Okay, that's your first step. So read it 2 times just to make sure that you clearly understand it. So talk about a tool you use to fix something broken. Okay, talk about a tool you use to fix something broken. So this means some kind of a tool or equipment that you generally use day in, day out. Yesterday, last month, tomorrow, you use it to fix broken items around the home. Okay. All right, then you read the rest of the question. What is this tool? How do you use it? What did you repair with it? So that's going to be your example. Say a situation that's real, that happened. And how does this tool and the item that you fixed help you? Okay, so what's good about this tool and what's good about what you've fixed with this tool? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. Okay, great. So firstly, you've read the question twice carefully. Don't rush. Make sure you read every element of the question. You have to answer all parts of the question to get full marks. Okay? All right? So you must answer all parts of the question to get full marks. So, step 1. Read the question twice for clarity. Okay. Step 2. Identify the category of the question and the tenses that you need to use. Okay, in this case, what's the category? So again, you have 5 kind of categories that all cue cards fit into. People, places, objects, events, and ideas. Okay, so your cue card will be one of these 5 categories, which basically just about covers any topic that you can think of. Nick Hill, Janil Rajvil, Kyber very quickly say it is an object. Deepika, yeah, the answer can be in any order, but there is a logical pattern, okay? I'm going to teach you that logical pattern. So this is an object. Okay. So when we talk about an object, what pieces of information should we convey to our listener so that they get a really clear idea of what we're saying? Okay, so Hemangi, in your speaking, you should use formal and some informal language. It should be professional and clear. It should be good quality communication. And Hemangi, you can actually have good quality communication with both formal and informal language. The key is to have quality communication, okay? So Rajveer says, in order to have quality communication, when you're talking about an object, you need to talk about its appearance, so what it looks like. You need to talk about its origin, where it comes from. You need to talk about its function, how to use it, and what does it do. And you need to talk about its value. So what is its purpose or what is its worth in your life? So these are the minimum basic elements that you have to include when talking about an object so that you have clarity for your audience. And that's absolutely true, okay? So its appearance, basically what it is, its origin, where does it come from, its function, how do you use it, and its value. And by doing that, you will likely touch on at least 90% of the questions on the cue card anyway. Okay? All right, and then the tense. So tense meaning like, are you talking mostly in the past, in the present, in the future? Please don't talk about all. It's not necessarily needed. Okay, some questions require you to talk about the past or the future. Some don't. All right. Okay. So in this question, what's the tense? So talk about a tool you use to fix something broken. What is it? How do you use it? What you repaired with it. How does this tool and this item that you fixed help you? Okay. So Nick Hill says mostly present, present perfect. I agree, Nick Hill. So mostly you're talking about this tool in the general sense, in its repetitive use, right? So as you use it repeatedly over time, and because of that, you use a lot of present perfect as well. I agree. Yeah. So Paulo says, talk about the past, like what you actually repaired with it. Yeah, I agree, Paulo. So a bit of past for sure, a lot of present, and maybe a little bit of future here as well. So how these items help you. Okay, so a little bit of past, lots of present, present perfect. Okay, maybe a bit of past perfect as well. These should be your focus. Okay. So past perfect, past, present, present perfect, and of course a lot of progressive form here as well. So the ing form of the verbs as well. Okay, cool. So we've identified that. Now step 3 is what? And this is a very important step that is often overlooked by students, and it is a big mistake to overlook this step. This is where students will often lose 1 band score in their speaking performance because they get stuck using less than ideal information. Yeah, so Kyber says, think of 2 to 3 objects that meet this criteria. Absolutely. So think of 2 to 3 objects that meet these criteria and choose the best one. When you're choosing the best one, what should you think about? So what do you need to consider when you choose the best choice here? Okay. There are definitely a few points that you want to keep in mind. So you think of 2 to 3 objects, you're like, okay, I've got 2 to 3 ideas. Which one of these meets all of these criteria? Okay. So Kyber says it should be unique. Yeah, be original. Okay, so don't pick something that everybody is talking about. Okay. Nick Haim, definitely specific. Yeah. So it should be unique or original. It should be specific. Yeah, it should be simple to discuss. Exactly, Garrett. So easy to talk about. Okay, so you shouldn't pick something that's really tricky to discuss, because then you're just going to get yourself into trouble. You're going to get stuck. You're going to repeat yourself, and your mark will slowly but surely deteriorate. Okay. And Sharman says it should be something that has lots of content. Absolutely. Yeah. So lots of content. All right. So those are the main criteria. It should be original, easy to talk about, and lots of content. So a couple of people have said glue, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was maybe Paulo said super glue. Super glue is more specific. Okay, it's a little bit more original to say super glue and not just glue. Or you could say something like wood glue or all-purpose glue. Okay. Nick Hill says glue gun. Nick Hill, maybe you saw our video on our YouTube channel that includes that answer. Screwdriver, sure. Okay. That is definitely original. Could be a little bit tricky to talk about, though. 2-to-1 Gaming says, I also said super glue. 2-to-1 Gaming, if you also said super glue, you have to start thinking, well, maybe many people are going to answer super glue. Okay, Ali Hatim says a wrench. Yeah, and I would even go as far as saying a monkey wrench. Everybody knows what a monkey wrench is? So a wrench looks like this. Okay, for those of you who are... okay, so this is a wrench, okay? And a monkey wrench is the special type of wrench that can be set to different types of sizes, okay? So it can be set to different sizes, so it fits different sizes of bolts, okay? Monkey wrench, and that's a wrench. And then, of course, wrenches have different sizes, right? So you want to be careful, again, because a wrench could be a little bit tricky, but monkey wrench can be used for different sizes. So, yeah. Okay, so what else do we have? We have a hammer. That's a very good one, right? The old classic hammer you can use to destroy or to fix, right? Okay, Thao says maybe a drill. Let's go with an electric drill. Okay, so if you're going to say drill, be sure it's not a manual drill. Go with the electric drill. Oh, I've used manual drills. They're kind of fun, but I definitely prefer an electric drill. Okay. Kyber, very nice. I like it. Needle nose pliers. Yeah, needle nose pliers. What a useful little tool to have around the house. I'm not even sure how to spell that, Kyber, because I know it's needle nose pliers, but I think it might be one word, needle nose, or with a hyphen maybe. Needle nose pliers. Okay, needle nose pliers is this tool here that has this kind of sharp. That's even difficult to draw. So it has this kind of sharp end, so you can pull out certain things, twist certain things with it. Could be a little bit tricky to talk about though. All right, needle nose pliers. Charmin says, I'll surely go with super glue. Yeah, so again, at home, you want to really be critical and think about, okay, which one is original, which one's easy to talk about, which one has lots of content, okay? So screwdriver, not a bad idea. Could be a little bit tricky to talk about, especially if you're not actually using a screwdriver often. I think hammer is a fairly good idea. Okay, I think super glue is a fairly good idea. I think scissors is a good idea as well. I think screwdriver, monkey wrench, electric drill, needle nose pliers, those are okay, but they can be a little bit difficult to talk about. You can get yourself into a tricky situation, okay? All right. So let's go with super glue today. Sometimes I take a vote, sometimes I veto. I'm going to veto this time. Let's go with super glue, and I can teach you some good vocabulary with this one as well as we go along. So, okay. So we'll choose super glue. All right, now your next step, step 4, is to write down some useful notes. Okay. So number 1 is what it looks like. Okay, don't write down what it looks like. Okay, so don't write down appearance. You should just know that that's the first point that you're writing about. So what does a tube of super glue look like? Okay, give me some information here. Okay, what's the appearance of super glue? It's liquid, yeah. So visualize it. Okay, I have the clear picture here of super glue, the way that it usually looks. Okay. Uhu is my favorite brand of super glue. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's sticky is the texture of it, right? But what does it actually look like? Okay, UV says transparent. Liquid, gel, sticky, gooey, Ali says, yeah. Yellow tube. Yeah, it is often a yellow tube. I find that most super glue, I've seen blue as well, but most super glue is a yellow tube. Okay. What's the size of it? It's small, right? Lepay says it's a small vessel with a pinpoint head. Yeah. When you think of small, think about size, right? So 3 centimeters. Yeah. Okay, and then pinpoint head, sure, yeah, that's important. It's got a small nose on it, right? Okay, yeah, Charmin, 3 centimeters roughly for most super glue, absolutely. Okay, all right. Charmin says the weight is about 1 gram. So yeah, it's very little, right? So let's say 2 milliliters. I don't know. It's very small amounts. VG says 5 milliliters. Sure. Okay. Nick Hill says it's an adhesive. That's a word that you should think about. Yeah, very good, Nick Hill. So adhesive, to adhere, means to stick. Okay. Adhesive is a synonym for glue, and that's one of the words that I wanted to introduce with this choice as well. So good job, Nick Hill. Okay, don't spend too much time on the appearance. So I think we've got lots of appearance here. What's the origin? Where do you get it from? Okay, so when you think about the origin, right, you should always tell your listener, your audience, when you're talking about an object, where you get this kind of object from, who buys it, where do you get it? So where do you get it? Ken says store. Artist says online. Okay, but like what kind of store? Okay. Of course, lots of different stores sell super glue, so you can actually say many stores. Okay. So my notes here would be many stores, because this is a very good way to write because in your notes, like this, BC, because. That's a notation form, which means because. Take note of that. Okay. As you get into the higher bands, like band 7, band 8, band 9, start to learn these types of notation for note taking as well. So like with, without, okay, just so you can be very quick. Okay, so many stores sell super glue because of its utility, its usefulness in many types of situations. Okay, and then you can detail it a little bit, like hardware, stationery, corner store, gas station, or petrol station if you're being British, gas station if you're being Canadian or American. Okay. Marasa Baraki says at around 50 ruples. Very good to have you in the class, Marasa. I haven't seen you in a long time, or I've missed you in the chat anyway. Okay, good. And yeah, maybe the price. Okay, so how much it costs. I don't know. Maybe $1.50. Okay. Something like that. All right, so that is its origin. All right, now again, appearance and origin, you want to be pretty quick. So you don't want to use too much of your 1 minute for that, because that should only make up about, those 2 points together together, not separately, should only make about 20 to 30% of your speaking at most. You should focus most of your speaking on its function and on its value. So its function. How do you use it? Okay, so how do you use super glue? It kind of sounds funny to ask that question, but I'm still learning how to use super glue after 40 years, and I still get my fingers stuck together sometimes, and it's really annoying, and then I can't feel my skin, and I hate that feeling when I can't feel my skin. So how do you use it? Okay, in the game, says adhesive for many types of surfaces, wood, glass, plastic. Okay, so, all right, so function, used to stick together many types of surface, wood. And again, be selective with your notes. You probably won't write down all of this. Wood, metal, glass. Okay, sure. Okay, so, but what do? Paulo says you open, squeeze, and don't touch. Okay, very good, Paulo. Yeah, emphasis on the don't touch. So open, squeeze, small amounts, right? So I would write small. So squeeze small. Don't touch or eat it. Yeah, absolutely, it'll be poisonous. Okay, don't touch or eat it. So how do you use it? Okay. Deepika says close it tightly afterwards. Yeah, so and one thing I've learned, I don't know if anybody has said this or written this down, I'm looking for it, is use it quickly. Chandran says use some gloves. Yeah, so maybe some gloves and use it quick. Okay, I've definitely learned that super glue only works if you use it quickly. If you don't use it quickly, it just makes a mess, right? So use it quickly. Okay. On one side, usually you only need to put it on one side of whatever you're adhering to, and then hold together firmly for too wordy, right? 30 seconds, okay? So open it, squeeze it, don't touch it, maybe use some gloves. You have to do this all quickly. You put it on one side of the two objects you're trying to stick together. You hold it together firmly for about 30 seconds, okay? So without moving, okay? I've learned that as well. If you use super glue and you're kind of shaking and moving, it doesn't really work all that well. Okay. And its value. So what's the value of super glue in your life? Okay. So why is it valuable for you? Okay. Okay, why is it valuable for you? Yeah, Ken, do not use super glue as a cheap drug. That's horrible. Okay. It's an awful idea. Okay, says to fix broken chairs. And yeah, very good. Okay, you've got a really weird handle. It's FDAHJAJ. It's like Fadakjaj. Says to reduce expenses. Yeah, it saves money, right? Yeah, that's a big one for super glue, right? It saves you money. You don't need to buy the items again. It doesn't just save you money, it saves you money and time. Whenever you think of money, always think of time as well. You don't have to go to the store. You don't have to buy that item again. You can use it right away. You have irreplaceable objects. You might have something that you inherited or something that you got on a vacation that you can't really replace, like a little statue that you need to fix with it. Okay, so that's a really good one as well. All right. Okay, and what have you fixed with it? So now we've got a lot of great ideas. Now we need to think of at least one answer. So when you're thinking about your notes, don't forget about the original questions, okay? So talk about a tool you use to fix something broken. What is it? How do you use it? What did you repair with it? So what is a kind of a good idea? What is a good object to talk about that you repaired with it? Okay, Angel says, fixed my laptop with super glue. Yeah, maybe if it's something simple like the casing is cracked or something. Artist says, used it to fix my remote. Yeah, Elise has some kind of a statue I fixed with it. Okay. Rajveer says TV remote. I think one of the most common items that people fix with super glue are things like glasses. Okay, so sunglasses. Okay. That's what I would go with. So I fixed the frame of my sunglasses. I know I've done that, right? So I've certainly had a few different times in my life where I've broken the frame of my sunglasses and I used super glue to fix it. It worked great for a while, especially because I needed them immediately and I didn't want to have the sun burning my eyes. I needed to drive. I didn't want to rush to the store and just buy some sunglasses, right? So fixing your sunglasses, a very, very common application of super glue. Okay, and you can, of course, talk about why that helped you and why the sunglasses helped you. Okay, all right. So we're just about there. We have maybe 10 seconds remaining in your 1 minute preparation time. What do you do? Okay, there is one last and very important step. Step 5. Before your 1 minute is up, before the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute is up, please begin speaking. What do? Aman, something different. Marasa says, first sentence, Arda, all in capitals. Ken says, panic. Ken, definitely don't panic. Do quite the opposite. Have your first sentence ready, okay? So think about your first sentence. Even write it down if you have a bit of time, okay? Too many students waste the first valuable 10-15 seconds by going, well, there are lots of tools that I use to fix broken items, but the one I want to talk about today, or they start by, well, thank you for giving me an opportunity to discuss some useful items for fixing. Don't do that, okay? That's horrible, all right? You want to give a very specific answer right away, all right? Okay. Zoker says, I'll just say all the info in my mind messed up. That's not going to work for a high band score, though, Zoker. So that's what you want to do. Rajveer says, a really useful tool that I have to fix broken items is a tube of super glue. Okay, so a really useful item that I have to fix broken items around the home is a tube of Oohoo. I'm not advertising Oohoo, but I do think that they make the best super glue. I have a small child, and let me tell you, I use super glue probably 4 times each week. So a really useful item that I have to fix broken items around the home is a tube of Oohoo all-purpose super glue. Yes, indeed. All right. Getting right into it. So that's exactly what you need, is that first sentence. Okay. Marasa says, the word item hasn't value. No, Marasa, item does have value. So Item means objects, right? So it's something physical, tangible. So it does have some value, okay? Object has value too. Thing is different because thing can be anything. Thing can be a thought, an action, an object. Thing can really be anything. So item is more specific than thing. Same with object, Marasa. Okay? All right? But you're right, Marasa. You do want to be as specific as possible, right? Okay. And Kyber says, equipment that I use to repair damaged items is super glue. Equipment I often use to repair damaged items is super glue. Yeah, that's very good, Kyber. I would say I often use it. Okay. Yeah, let's take item out from there and let's go tool. Yeah, that's a bit redundant. Okay, so this is my first sentence. A really useful tool that I have to fix broken items around the home is a tube of Uhu all-purpose super glue. So yeah, replacing item for tool here is a good idea, especially since that's our topic. Okay, so it is a tool of sorts, and we want to reiterate that. All right. Okay, so now we just basically go through these steps: appearance, origin, function, value, as if you're talking to an alien. Okay. So next, we talk about what it looks like. So what is super glue? Okay. Give me the description, students. So describe the appearance of super glue. Okay. I'm going to do the same and then we'll compare. All right, so just typing away, hammering away. Why am I being this quick? Because I have this in my notes. And if I forget something, I can look at the notes and, transparent. Oh, that could be something useful. Liquid gel, that could be something useful. Sticky yellow tube, 3 centimeters, 2 milliliter. I've used that. And notice how now I've given reason for it. Okay, all right. Kyber says, this item usually comes in a small tube, I would say about 3 centimeters long. It has sticky liquid inside. I always put on gloves whenever I want to use it. Beautiful language, Kyber. You're really improving, and I'm sure that you're finding lots of usefulness in your improved English in life. So that's great. I'm happy to see that improvement, Kyber. You've really come a long, long way since you first joined these live classes months back. Okay, very nice. Marasa says it is transparent sticky liquid which is filled in a small tube and the volume is about 3 milliliters. Weight is different, okay? Milliliters, Marasa, is volume, not weight. Okay, careful with that. All right. VG likes using Lulu Super Glue. So Lulu Super Glue is a 2-inch bottle, transparent, with a yellow cap holding about 5 milliliters of liquid. Okay, good, VG, that works. Nice. All right. Kyber, just once. Okay, just once. I'll catch it. So Ken says super glue is an oozy fluid, liquid, that is often in a sharp, pointy type of tube with a screw twist because it can dry quickly. It has, it's about 3 centimeters in length. Okay, not 3 millimeters. Millimeters is too tiny. Millimeters is like tiny, tiny. Okay, so watch your measurements, students. Watch your measurements. Volume, centimeters, milliliters. Watch your measurements, okay? Maylee says super glue is a sticky substance used to adhere broken pieces. It's usually obtained in a yellow tube of about 3 centimeters at any stationery and corner store. Yeah, Maylee, very good. Okay. Remember to have lots of details, so don't necessarily mix in where you get it from right away. Maybe save that for the next part. All right, good. Moving along nicely. I wrote something very similar to many of you. To be more specific, this is a small yellow tube of very strong adhesive. Okay, adhesive again is a synonym for glue. About 3 centimeters in length, containing about 3 milliliters of glue. It has a long needle nose for precision application and a screw-on cap to keep it from drying out. Super glue is used to stick broken pieces back together, or potentially to build a bigger structure from smaller pieces when doing arts and crafts. Okay, now that's all I'm going to say, because otherwise, if I start talking more about arts and crafts, I'll go off topic. Do not go off topic. Okay, that's really bad. So if you catch yourself saying, hey, I use super glue to make arts and crafts as well, stop right there and immediately go back to talking about fixing broken pieces or broken objects. Okay. All right, so now I want to say its origin. So where does it come from, right? Where can you get it? Okay, where do you get super glue? Okay, before you start talking about what you're using it for, right? I can buy, and you can use the first person. All right. So again, quickly about its origin. Yeah, and I can throw this in there. Look at my notes. Okay, and using some nice natural language. So, I can buy Uhu super glue from many different retailers, such as hardware stores, gas stations, stationery stores, and supermarkets. I think it is readily available because it is so useful and people often require it to fix broken items. It usually sells for about $1.50 a tube. $1.50 a tube means $1.50. Okay. Janelle is being even more specific. Janelle says, I mostly buy it from the Naveen stationery store, which is about 5 minutes walking distance from my home. Yeah. Muaz says, I usually obtain it from the supermarket, and it is also available in small shops in my neighborhood. Very good, Muaz. And again, we don't need to spend much time on this, okay? Adele says, I usually buy it from DIY or hardware shops. It normally costs around $2.50 RMY. Okay, very good. Thao Nguyen says, super glue is sold in various kinds of retailers, including hardware stores, stationery stores, even supermarkets, for about $0.50 or even less. Yeah, you can sometimes buy it for very cheap, 50 cents. I've seen it for that price. Okay, very good. Charmin says, Janiel, I wrote exactly what you wrote. I guess that's probably if I find myself in India where I need to go to buy super glue. Okay, very nice. All right. Okay. Paulo says, is it stationary or stationary? Yeah, stationary, I believe is the correct, because stationary means to stay in one spot, right? So very good, Paulo. That's an important little spelling difference, right? Stationary stores. Okay, good. Now, I want to discuss, so making sure that I don't run out of time, I want to make sure that I discuss its function. So how do I use it? Okay. So to stick together many different types of objects or different kinds of surfaces, wood, metal, glass. Okay. I squeeze it, put it on one side, hold it together for 30 seconds. So now I want to talk about its function and its value. So let's get into that nice and smooth. Everybody's doing a fantastic job so far. Very good. Okay. All right. So the recommended way to use super glue is to wear gloves for protection. Squeeze a small amount of transparent fluid or gel onto one side of the broken surface. It can be wood, glass, or even metal. And then hold the two pieces firmly together for about 30 seconds until the glue sets. Of course, avoid getting it in the hands or in the eyes or mouth. Okay. All right. Very good. Very nice. Let's see. Charmin says, I usually use it by squeezing the liquid glue on different items, especially to fix my jewelry stones. And of course, using a pair of gloves to avoid getting it on my hands. Okay. Very nice. Says super glue can even bind the skin to other objects or glue fingers together. However, super glue is not usually harmful, and there is a range of quick home remedies. Okay, Zoker, let's not go again off topic into the dangers of super glue. Vibhavi says the ideal way to use it is to squeeze the content out quickly and adhere two pieces while wearing a pair of gloves to avoid sticking it to your hands, and then close the cap to avoid drying. Okay. Yeah, very good, by Hobby. I like it. A little bit of adjustment. Jazz says, even though I use this super glue, it's a breeze for everyone. We should follow some instructions which are helpful to avoid damage. Okay, very good. Nice. Okay, Hyder says it is recommended not to stock super glue for a long time because it does have an expiry, and you can check that on the packaging, right? Okay, good. Again, don't go off topic, so keep it simple. Now, in the next step, of course, I want to talk about an item that I used it for recently, so an item that I fixed with super glue recently, and how that item and super glue was useful, okay? So I'm going to do that. Okay, so keep going, students. We're picking up fluency now and some speed. All right. So here we go. I accidentally, actually just a sec, a little bit more back here. So most recently, super glue came in really handy to fix my broken sunglasses. Let's use a little bit of past perfect here because this is what happened before. Okay, so I had accidentally sat on my sunglasses while getting into my car and broke the frame. Fortunately, I was able to fix it quickly with super glue, and then I could use them to keep the sun and UV rays out of my eyes, and I drove safely and in comfort. Okay, let's see what some of you had come up with. All right. Rajveer says, recently I fixed the frame of my sunglasses using the Uhu adhesive, which saved me about 500 rupees. Yeah, very good. So you're remembering your notes. Because otherwise I would have been required to buy new sunglasses, and I cannot even imagine going outside without my sunglasses in the scorching hot temperature and bright sun. Very good, Rajveer. Murasa says, recently I used this useful equipment for fixing my sunglasses, one word, as my niece accidentally had broken the frame. They're very expensive and I can't buy a new one, so it saved me a lot of time and money. Very good. All right. Sunnies, I think like that is the, okay. All right, at this point, I'm going to take a quick look at my notes and the question as well and see if I missed anything. So talk about a tool you've used to fix something broken. Okay, I have that. What is it? I talked about that. How do you use it? I discussed that. What did you repair with it? Yeah, talked about that. How did this tool and the item you fixed help you? I talked about that. So I'm really happy at this point. I've answered all the questions. Let's go through my response from the top. And if I have more time, if the examiner hasn't stopped me, then I can look at my notes and I can expand, okay? So here we go. This is speaking, so make sure to speak and repeat and practice this, okay? So here we go. A really useful tool that I have to fix broken items around the home is a tube of Yoo-Hoo all-purpose super glue. To be more specific, this is a small yellow tube of very strong adhesive, about 3 centimeters in length, containing about 3 milliliters of glue. It has a long needle nose for precision application and a screw-on cap to keep it from drying out. Super glue is used to stick broken pieces back together or potentially to build a bigger structure from smaller pieces, doing arts and crafts. I can buy Uhu super glue from many different retailers such as hardware stores, gas stations, stationery stores, and supermarkets. I think it is readily available because it is so useful and people often require it to fix broken items. It usually sells for about $1.50 a tube. The recommended way to use super glue is to wear gloves for protection. Squeeze a small amount of this transparent fluid or gel onto one side of the broken surface. It can be wood, glass, even metal. And then hold the two pieces firmly together for about 30 seconds until the glue sets. Of course, avoid getting it on the hands or in the eyes or mouth. Most recently, super glue came in really handy to fix my broken sunglasses. I accidentally sat on them while getting into my car and broke the frame. Fortunately, I was able to fix it quickly with super glue, and then I could use these to keep the sun and UV rays out of my eyes, and I drove safely and in comfort. Having this super glue saved me about $100, not having to replace my sunnies, and of course, time as well, not having to go to the store. Okay, your 2 minutes is up. Now I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to the topic of part 2. Let's start part 3. All right, and we're going to do part 3 tomorrow, everyone. So make sure to come back at this time tomorrow, and we'll do part 3 tomorrow following from this part 2. And members, will have your question and answer session class beforehand. So make sure you're here for that, okay? Great job, everyone. That's it for today. Make sure to practice. You can practice some other ideas. So screwdriver, hammer, while this information is fresh, okay? Take some time and try it with another object, such as a screwdriver or a hammer, okay? Thank you, Carolina, for moderating the class. Kyber, great participation. Everyone, Marasa, it was great to see you in the class. I hope everybody has a lovely rest of your Friday. And do check us out for many more HD video lessons that are pre-recorded. Join our premium package at aehelp.com and General IELTS at gieltshelp.com. These websites look like this. They are our way to help you improve your IELTS scores. Click the big red button to join. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access for mobile, laptop, desktop, and it's really not a lot of money, so well worth it. We're world leaders when it comes to IELTS test prep. All right, everyone, that's it for me for now. Hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. I'm Adrian, signing out from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. See you all later.